Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are going to wait a couple more minutes for folks. I appreciate you all for being so prompt and on time. It's awesome. We'll go ahead and start in a few minutes, though. So thanks. Sorry, Francie, no music. Should have been better prepared with some playlist up in the background. We'll give it one more minute and then we will begin around 6:03, a little bit past that. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. There are a couple more folks who are planning to join. And I anticipate they'll be joining a little sooner. So just to be mindful of time, we're going to go ahead and start right now. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We really, really appreciate it and are super excited to have this conversation with you and get to have a discussion about this really important topic that might be new for some and super familiar for others. So it's a great place to just bring a lot of us all into one space to have that discussion. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to the council president to give us some welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Marianne. And thank you to those of you who joined us and are joining us. This is a really important decision for us, that this being the selection of our new IBA, the new independent budget analyst. It's, I think, one of the more important responsibilities that the council has. And this person is someone who is going to lead the office of the independent budget analyst. And that is the office that helps the council review the city budget and all of the items that end up being docketed for the council and for each of our committees. And in doing so, they help ensure that the council is being a good steward of the public's funds, and that we are, really doing what we're meant to do in terms of advancing the public's vision and goals for San Diego. There's a lot more to it than that, obviously, but the simple thing to say is we recognize that this is an extremely valuable resource to the council, and to the residents. And that's why we wanted to make sure that this was an open and transparent process. This wasn't about, necessarily having the masses participate in each and every step. It was about ensuring that the door was open to the public to participate, and that those who were interested had the opportunity to do so. So whether it's a few people who participate in and provide feedback, or it's hundreds, what we definitely wanted to be sure of is that the door was open, that the community knew that those who wanted to share their thoughts and opinions could do so, and there'll continue to be opportunities to do so along the way. And we encourage those of you who are attending today to to share the information to members of the public to do so. And here's why that door being open is so important to me and to our office, and I think to the council as a whole. We recognize that San Diegans need an independent budget analyst that you can trust, and that we also recognize that trust is not something that just happens. It's something that is earned, and that's one of the ways that we earn trust is through transparency, and another is through accessibility. So that is what tonight is meant to be, and the whole process is meant to do. I know that a couple of you have taken our survey and know that we'll be noting your ideas with the qualifications you want in an IBA director from that survey, and obviously from tonight as well. And this is going to help guide our decision. I have to hop to another community meeting, but I'm going to leave you in the very able hands of our Director of Community Empowerment, Marianne Osman. You should know that there are representatives of multiple council offices here. I'm sure Marianne will give them a shout out as well. I'll actually do that if I can. We've got Karen and Sana, right? Karen from District 4, Sana from Karen with the office, District 4, the Office of Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp, Sana from the Council Office of District 7, Councilmember Raul Campillo. So thank you to them for showing up, and I think that's again a testament to the council's seriousness about hearing from the community. So I will leave you now. Thank you all for showing up, and I very much look forward to hearing back from Marianne about what happened in this conversation. And have a great night, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Council President. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start tonight's conversation. I will be sharing my screen, so please be mindful as I pull that up. All right, so I think you should all be able to see that. If you're not, let me know, but I think you're all able to see that. So again, tonight is all about our, as was mentioned by the Council President, our search for the new director of the Office of the Independent Budget Analyst. And so I wanted to make sure that there is space for you all to ask questions. So please feel free to put questions in the chat as we go along. If things come up, we'll try to answer it in real time. We have a couple of presenters tonight as well, which I will be walking through the agenda in just a second. But the chat is an open communication line, so feel free to ask any question. We know that this is a super wonky kind of new topic for a lot of folks, and I know that for us, as was mentioned by the Council President, it's really important for the entire council body to hear as much as we can about the public's insight into shaping this really crucial opportunity here. So without further ado, this is what tonight's conversation is going to look like. There's just going to be a bit of a context on what is the independent budget analyst, what is that office, the role of the director, and then after that background, we're going to toss it over to Pam Derby, who is the recruiter that is supporting the city on hiring the new director of the IBA, and Pam will be speaking to what that recruitment process looks like and how you can engage. Then more importantly, we're going to look to you to hear what are qualifications that are important to you. In order to make sure that we have a space that feels comfortable for folks, we're going to be dividing ourselves into 2 separate breakout groups, which are going to be facilitated by an individual in each group. And then there's going to be an opportunity to really discuss some of the qualifications that you all think are really important. And even more importantly, what are some of the needs that you think need to be really prioritized when it comes to what the IBA does and how that leans into the qualifications those individuals should have if they're interested in pursuing this opportunity. And then we'll wrap it up at the end. Throughout this entire forum, we are going to make sure that the survey is continuously shared in the chat. So this is not the only opportunity to provide feedback. I really encourage you all to copy the survey link in the chat if you get a chance to, and to please share it out with folks in your network, neighbors, friends, family. This is a process we hope that everyone is able to weigh into in some way or another, even if they're unable to join us in some of the opportunities that we're going to discuss later on. Just a reminder of some community guidelines that we always like to set when we're having public discussions, just to make sure that we are all mindful of one another. Please keep yourself on mute when you're not speaking. I know sometimes it's easy for the mute to go off, but I hope you are able to just monitor and make sure that you don't accidentally turn it on when others are speaking. Please be mindful of the pronouns that individuals go by. One person, one mic. Communicate with courtesy and respect, and really to be extremely tolerant of one another's viewpoints. When it comes to discussion, we want to make sure it's as productive and as safe of a space as possible for folks. So we really encourage you all to please be mindful of these community guidelines as we connect tonight. So what is the Office of Independent Budget Analyst, and why is it really important? In order to really have you all be able to help shape this process, I think it's really important for us to really talk about a little bit of a background of how the IBA was formed. What does the IBA do for the council? And by extension, what does the IBA do for you as residents, stakeholders, and experts who are passionate about the city of San Diego or reside within it? So here's just a little bit of points about the independent budget analyst. So the office is an office that was created back in 2004. This came along with the creation of the strong mayor, strong council form of governance. Voters passed this back in 2004 with Prop F, as you see listed out here. And then it became approved in 2008 permanently when voters passed Prop C, which made the strong form, strong mayor, council government, which we have today, permanent. So it's an office that's been around since 2004. It's really crucial because it is an office that was created in order to really help bring accountability and transparency to the city. And really, because it is an independent office, there's a lot of expertise that we're able to lean into as a council and as a mayor, and really at large as a city. The council specifically is able to determine the powers of the office and its manager. So that's why the council right now is overseeing the process of who's going to be the next director of the IBA. Some other additional information about the IBA is, they are really important for consideration by the legislative body, analyzing monthly revenue and expenditure reports, serving as a resource to city council and committees, and they initiate proactive reports on key topics as well. There's a lot that the IBA really has the amount of expertise and input on. The other thing to also keep in mind is, as mentioned, they are independent. Their purpose is to really have a really clear, objective, and unbiased analysis. That's in their mission statement. That's the way they operate. And this is really crucial because as mentioned, they advise the city council and the public on all things related, not just to the financial and policy impacts, but just generally, what are some of these different efforts that the city is doing and how do we analyze it and make sure that we are being held accountable. And so as a constituent or stakeholder who is concerned, tuned into, or passionate about the city of San Diego, this is a really crucial office because they provide the citizens of the city and all other parties an opportunity to really see how government is being held accountable and what transparency looks like with the work that the government is doing. And in particular, when it comes to the budget cycle, the IBA has also been incredibly supportive with council offices to bring community presentations and engagement opportunities directly to the residents in order for the city budget process to be broken down and really be made accessible for all. So this is an office that is crucial on engaging in numerous different ways, and as such, who leads the office is also naturally going to be a really crucial opportunity for us to all weigh in on as well. So our next portion is, now that we've discussed sort of what the context of the IBA is, who that is, what the office is, and sort of the importance of that role, why are we hiring a new director? Well, we have an opening that came up as our wonderful Andrea, who was our IBA director for a while, retired last year, and our current interim, Jeff Kowar, is actually present here tonight. And I wanted to see, Jeff, if you were able to speak for a few minutes on the importance of the IBA before we toss it over to Pam on the hiring process.
Yeah, thanks, Marianne. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I think you just did a really good job of laying out what our office is all about. I think I just add to it. I'll pick up on what you just said, which is that we're a small office. We're a total of 10 individuals. We really value and work to safeguard our independence. And additionally, we try to live up to our mission statement, which is to provide the city council and the public with clear, objective, and unbiased information and analysis. And that's really where we come from. As Marianne noted, we certainly review the budget on a year-round basis and advise the council and help them to incorporate their policy objectives into the budget. But we do much more than that. We review everything that comes before the city council and council committees from a fiscal and policy standpoint. We serve as a resource to the council to look into, perform independent research and analysis that might support or provide insight to policy initiatives they'd like to advance. We have an open door policy. We will meet and speak with anybody. That's individuals from the public, small group organizations, the press, anybody that wants to meet with us. We always are willing to listen and provide information. We develop resources for both the public and the council, and you had our website up on your prior slide. And you can find a lot of that information there, including our reports and guides, Citizens Guide to the Budget, Citizens Guide to Infrastructure. Yeah, I mean, we came into being because when in 2004, voters changed the form of government, starting in 2006, used to have the council used to have the benefit of a professional city manager. With a change in the form of government to a strong mayor, strong council form of government, we lost the city manager, and basically the entirety of the city staff, 10,000 plus employees, now roll up to the mayor, who may or may not share the same goals and policy objectives as the city council. So the city council needs its own discrete research arm, if you will, and that's what we try to fill. We try to serve in that role for both the council and for the public. So we're constantly reviewing things that come up for council action. Does it have all the information? Are there best practices that should be surfaced for council consideration? Is there some additional information we can provide the council with so they can make the best possible decisions on behalf of the city and their constituents, their districts? So I think I'll stop there. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted me to address, Marianne, but I agree with you. It's a very important office. You did a great job of giving a high-level overview, and we certainly appreciate the public's interest tonight.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. That was incredibly insightful. And I know that you're an extremely busy person, so thank you for spending your time with us tonight so you can share your insight.
Thank you.
So with that, we will toss it over to Pam Derby, who is the recruiter supporting the council and finding our next director of the IBA. Pam, take it away.
Great, thank you, Marianne. Good evening. I'm Pam Derby. I manage the executive recruitment function at CPS HR Consulting. and the city has contracted with us to assist them with the IBA recruitment. Next. So we're very fortunate that we're able to have these forums that the city's putting on so that we can hear what the community is looking for in the IBA. I've already heard public comment at a couple of the city council meetings that was very interesting about the things that the public is looking for, how crucial the office is to the community in looking at the budget in terms of diversity and inclusion and equity, etc. The position is being advertised at the moment, and the final filing date is Monday, February 7th. Oftentimes people ask me, well, why are you asking for our input now? Because you're already advertising it. But the reality is that this information is important to us in talking to candidates when they've come into the process already. So our first goal is to make sure that we have attracted a highly qualified, diverse pool of candidates. And so this is being advertised in many different forums. It has been sent already to more than 7,000 individuals across the country who fit the profile. We will be following up with individuals after we've heard some of this information as well for the ideal candidate profile. So we'll be following up with people. And we'll be taking recommendations from council members and from the public to make sure that we continue to reach out to those people. Next. Thank you. So there are going to be several different opportunities for the public to participate and to provide us with this information. There is going to be public comment at all the council meetings until this position closes. As everyone has mentioned, there is an online survey. We would encourage you to go there and fill that out, send the link to others, as Marianne had mentioned. We will have another public forum on February 5th, so that if you know others who would like to participate, we'd love to hear from them. And we will be compiling all of your comments and providing that in a report to the council on February 14th. Next. So again, our mission is to attract a highly qualified, diverse pool of candidates, a broad pool of candidates. So the information that you're providing, what we will use this for is to interview and evaluate those candidates. We want to have a diverse pool. So this information, as I mentioned, is not about the marketing of the position. It's about, once we have those candidates, identifying who fit that profile, and the information that you've given us helps with that. It informs the questions we ask. It informs the selection process that we use. It informs the criteria that we use to evaluate the candidates. And so it's very important. We encourage everyone to reach out to other members of the community, other NGOs, other nonprofit groups to fill out the survey. You can email me directly if you like, with information you might like to share, but the survey is anonymous, but we're willing to speak with you individually as well. As Mr. Kowar said that they do with the IBA office, we're willing to do that too. Pick up the phone and call us, and we're willing to speak with you. But are there any questions about the process at this point? I know that that's been a very quick overview of what we'll be doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pam. We really appreciate that. So I don't see any questions or comments in the chat from folks, which means I think we can just go ahead along to the next portion, which is our community input. So as mentioned by everyone that you've heard speak so far, this role is a crucial, important one, and really what matters most is making sure that the public has an opportunity to weigh in on who ultimately gets selected. And so in order to help shape that, we want to know what are the qualifications that are really important to you all when you want to see the next director of the IBA spearheading the office in a way that you really think aligns with how the city ultimately as a whole, but especially the council who gets a lot of support from the IBA, how we're able to be held to high standards of accountability, transparency, but also the resources and services that Jeff had mentioned earlier that they provide, seeing the excellence of that continue with the new director. So with that said, in order to kind of help us all think about some of the qualifications that are important to us all, or what is important to us broadly when thinking of a role like this, we're going to break into breakout groups. We'll be going to 2 separate groups. As mentioned earlier, there is going to be a facilitator for each group. It's only going to be about 10-15 minutes, so it's not a lot of time, but it's enough time, we hope, for you all to discuss one-on-one with the folks in your group some of the qualifications that are important to you and some of other discussion items that may come up as you're all just convening around this topic. So with that said, we are going to need just a minute as we start to divide folks into breakout groups. My lovely colleague Heidi is helping me out with that tonight. So Heidi, whenever you have that good to go, let me know. But thank you all so much for being here. I'm really excited to see some familiar faces and see some new ones.
Thanks, Marianne. We are ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and open all the rooms.
Awesome. Thank you. See you all soon. Welcome back, everyone. I see one group has already returned. Hi to that group. So we'll wait a couple more seconds as the second group returns as well. I think everyone has returned. Yeah, I think everyone's returned. So we will go ahead and now turn it to our group facilitators, Karen and Sana, who are super awesome and stepped in as facilitators to help support the group discussions. Either of you want to go first? It's up to you. You want to share out what your group spoke about in your discussion?
Yes, so in my group, we had some great feedback, really just reiterating the access to community members, including community members that historically haven't been engaged in, government, and being able to break down those heavy topics. Showing they want to see in the IBA and the next IBA director proven success at doing webinars, engaging with community members, and they just really reiterated how important reports and analysis IBA provides. So obviously continuing that, and not having the IBA director not afraid to point out inconsistencies, in reports, and holding elected officials accountable to their memos and other that they put out. They would like to see an IBA director that can provide analysis with a racial justice lens, someone who is an independent thinker and, you know, not easily swayed. So, and, you know, they just want to see an IBA director with strong engagement skills, being able to break down topics and provide content that is accessible to the public.
Wonderful. Thank you, Karen. Is there anyone from Karen's group who has anything else that they would like to add? No, I don't see any comments. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks again, Karen, for sharing your group's discussion with us. Sana, I'll toss it over to you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, very much aligned with the first group. The input was really to have a director that has community experience or has some sort of experience working with organizations or facilitating those type of conversations to ensure an inclusive space. That it is, we talked about the importance of whether this director should have sorry, whether they should have experience working in other city governments versus this experience with the community. And so really broadening the field, that it's not just from a corporate setting or a typical hiring pool, that the background is more, the important thing is that it's collaborative, and that this director can facilitate strong relationships with the public, transparency, and maintaining open relationships with the public, proactively creating those platforms through public hearings, either on Zoom or in person when we can do that, doing community outreach. So just sharing and inviting people into these spaces. We talked about the ability of this director to navigate politics and, you know, different political tensions and special interests, and also if budgetary items are coming forward from the mayor or his staff that the IBA disagrees with or that are controversial, that the ability to stand up to that and point out inconsistencies, I think, like Karen said, would be important. It would show that they are truly committed to the public, and that the community would also be able to support the IBA and the council in those instances. So it would be a collaborative effort of everyone. And we also talked about that as a long-term vision for this office and for the budget process, to do a participatory budget. And it's still kind of preliminary, those discussions, but that the community really wants to work with the IBA and their council to see what that may look like and how the budget can be developed through an equity lens that engages the communities, where disadvantaged communities receive the funding that they have historically lacked, and just where residents are informed and stay up to date on what's going on with their tax money, their tax dollars, and just important policy issues for our communities.
Thank you so much, Sana. It's a lot of great insight that your group shared as well. Wow, it sounds like you all had incredible conversations, really speaking to a lot of the reasons why this opportunity of discussion is important and why we hosted it, because there's so many different qualifications that you all mentioned that are really crucial to ensure that we have the best director possible stepping into this role. One question that I know one of the groups had flagged for me, and I think Pam, this is a question for you. One of the participants had asked if you can just share again, where is the job being posted? I think not just the link to the job posting, but also they were asking what sort of platforms is the job being shared on? They haven't seen it in any local newspapers or other platforms they're familiar with, so they're curious in knowing where that has been distributed so far.
Sure, it's a long list, so I can pull it up. We have asked the council members to let us know if there are local places for us to put it that would be atypical to what we would normally do. Oftentimes, though, with a recruitment like this, there are periodicals or things that are in the community that we should be using. And so if anyone has examples or ideas for us, that would be great as well. So pardon my tapping, I'm bringing up the list. We did put together a diversity and equity plan for this recruitment. But so it includes ICMA, which is the International City County Manager Association, the Government Finance Officers Association, the California Society of Municipal Finance Officers, Public CEO, California City News, Western Cities, the National League of Cities, the American Institute of CPAs, and then the National Forum for Black Public Administrators, the Local Government Hispanic Network, the International Network of Asian Public Administrators, Women Leading in Government, the Association of African American Financial Advisors, the National Association of Black Accountants, the American Association for Access, Equity, and Diversity, the Association of Latino Professionals in Finance and Accounting, the National Society of Hispanic MBAs, the Asian Pacific CPA Association, the National Association of Asian American Professionals, the American Women's Society of Certified Public Accountants, and LinkedIn. In addition, it has been sent, as I mentioned, directly to more than 7,000 individuals initially around the country who are in similar types of positions.
Wonderful, thanks, Pam. And is there a direct link that if folks want to share the job posting that they can share around? That was a question that also came up.
Sure, and I believe that it's on the city's website, that the link to the brochure and to our website is on the city's website so that you can go there and find it. Our website is cpshr.us. If you'd like to go there and look at the executive recruitment page, and you can see all of the positions that we're posting, but the IBA is near the top of that list. Again, that's cpshr.us. There we go. Analyst just shared it in the chat. But the city is, and maybe, and Marianne, I'm not sure where it is on the city's website. It is on the HR page. It's being shared on the HR jobs page as well. So you can go there and it links right to our page.
Thanks, Pam. We'll see if someone from on our end can drop it in the chat. And if not, we will make sure you all receive it in a follow-up email. Are there any other questions or thoughts folks have?
I just wanted to say that I think everybody has done an amazing job tonight. You, Marianne, also have done a wonderful job. And it's good to see some familiar faces again. I would like to also thank both of the facilitators. They did an amazing job. And I know it's not an easy job or anything, but yes, amazing. And I'm glad that, you guys took the time to have this for us, because this doesn't happen quite often, but when it does, it really shows how much we matter. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you so much, Maria. Maria is one of our rock star D9 residents that we're super lucky to get to work with and have. Oh, I see, Chris, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to also say thanks, and I'm really impressed by the format of the meeting. I was expecting kind of a typical city hearing where there's like public comment cards and you get your 1 minute and that's it. And this was really interactive and really participatory, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight. Anyone else have any last comments or thoughts before we wrap up tonight? I don't see any. All right, well, if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office at District 9, or you can reach out to Councilmember Campillo's office. Sana had put some information in the chat as well. Or also you can reach out to Karen and the lovely team in the Council President Pro Tem's office, Councilmember Montgomery Steps. So please make sure you reach out to any of us. We're all available to help support you all, to make sure that you are informed and able to share your voice. But more importantly, that as many people as possible are able to share their voices. So I hope you're all able to share the survey. If you have any other additional follow-up questions, I know that there is at least one outstanding one that we don't have an answer to right now. We will make sure that we follow up with the individual one-on-one. But if there are any others that have been unanswered or that you would like to see us follow up with, please don't hesitate to reach out to us as well. We have, as you've noticed, been recording this, so part of this meeting may be utilized to help share the insight that you all gain on what the IBA is and what the recruitment process is to help support promotion of the engagement. So I encourage you all to let others know of the other opportunities for public input. But most importantly, just again, thank you all so much for joining us tonight on a Wednesday evening, no less. I know it's the middle of a busy week for everyone. So thank you all so much. And we're really thankful for having you all join us tonight. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Marianne.
Thank you.
Thanks,
night.
Marianne. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, Marianne. Have a good night.